to understand where you're at in your business, Ryan. If you can just tell all of us where you at, and then we're gonna ask you a few questions and get it done, So, but anyways, just tell us a little bit about yourself, and then we're gonna ask you a few questions, and we'll continue with our day.
Absolutely. And Ivan, I appreciate you hopping me on. This is quite an honor. I just love just how Family First Life works. I mean, I was really just brought into this business about 18, 19 months ago. Complete career change, no sales experience, probably like a lot of the people that are on the call, coming from all walks of background. I happen to be in law enforcement, so really no sales experience, just a willingness to really go out and help and serve people. I think that's what allowed me, in addition to the support that we have here and the mentors and the calls just like this, that allowed me to seek success very early on, and then take my business to the next level. So pretty much what happened, I got hurt and decided to make a career change. And like I said, as a law enforcement officer, not even clearing 100,000 a year, came over here part-time and was able to make almost my entire year's salary in like 2 months. And that was part-time. And that's when I made that transition to come over here full-time, because the numbers don't lie.
No doubt. So what is your team doing right now?
We are right about we're right about 200,000. We're adding more writers every day, all across the country, and really just plugging people in.
What are you producing on a monthly basis right now?
Right now, again, post production is kind of taking a back seat right now because I'm working on building, but I'm pretty consistent at about 30,000 right now.
Okay. Wow. And you taking it slow. So 30,000, pretty good. All right. What was your best month?
Best month was 56,000.
Okay. On your own pen. Okay. Good deal. And all right. So, I mean, I'm just going to ask one question, get out of the way. So all these hungry agents here that, want to probably know more from you, they do have questions. And while Ryan answering my last question here, guys, think about the questions. Let's be respectful of this time. Get him on the line with us, get the questions answered, and let him back to recruit and produce his 30K. So anyways, what is the number one advice you're gonna give, Ryan, to any agent that's just getting started that want to either personally produce or recruit, or both? Well, actually, we know you can't really recruit if you don't produce on your own pen. So I mean, it's impossible. It's just dreams, and it's out of the MLM world that we're not part of. So, but what is that one advice you're going to give to new agents that just getting started with us?
Really, the one piece of advice really is just keep it very simplistic. And what I mean by keep it very simplistic is don't overcomplicate what you're doing, whether that's from a personal standpoint or from a building standpoint. Because really, when you make the decision to do something, you just got to do it. As far as personal production, our bread and butter is leads. So if we don't have enough leads, we don't have enough people to call, we don't have enough people to see, our personal production is going to take a fall. We're not going to get to where we need to be. So commit all the way. I think mindset is very, very important. And I know I listen to a lot of training and podcasts, which again, plugging yourself in day one is listening to the training, and just duplicate it. And everybody says, put your head down, go to work, and then keep a schedule and keep your mind right. Because if you don't keep your mind right, if you go out there, and I wouldn't even call it a bad day, because everybody's like, oh, I may have had a bad day. There's no bad days in this business. It's just character building days that allow us to get better each and every day. So it's very important that you keep your mind right, and it's very, very level throughout the entire process. Whether I write, I think my best day, I think I wrote 13 or 14,000 in a day. And my worst day, I didn't write anything. We're all going to have those days, but it's about the family. It's not about our bank account. Our bank account is really just a byproduct for helping families. So that's the personal production key of advice I can give you guys, because you just start helping people and you'll be surprised. Like you'll wake up, you'll be like, oh, three grand, 4 grand, 6,000. And it just keeps coming. As long as you're consistent, your money will just keep coming in.
No doubt. This is good, man. So, all right. So let's open up for the questions, guys. You must have some. Otherwise, you haven't watched the training enough and, haven't been plugged in enough if you don't have any questions, unless you've been with us for quite some time. So then you know that it's simpler. And that's what Brian tried to emphasize now. It's simpler than you think. Don't overcomplicate it. Just buy leads, go to work. So, but anyways, go ahead with your questions, guys. If you have one, unmute yourself and shoot.
Brian,
How you doing, Eric?
I'm well, thanks. Explain a little bit of your staffing, not necessarily the recruiting of agents, but you're finding dependable staff.
Yeah, I think in the beginning it is a transition. That's why I was telling you. Anytime, so I have honestly probably about a couple months into the business is when I hired an admin. And the basic duties of an admin, meaning controlling your back office stuff, contacting your clients if there's banking information that needs to be updated, reminding your clients that the payment's coming out. I got that done very, very early on because what I was finding is that I was wasting a lot of time and it was interfering with my dials. And my personal dials is what allows my business to keep flowing. So I think if you're in this business full time, you're literally shooting yourself in the foot if you don't have an admin. Okay. Once you hire an admin, and again, you're going to have to walk them through your logins. I have a spreadsheet for all of my companies that I write with. I have a spreadsheet for my logins, my mother's maiden name, my social. Like I need that admin to be me, and I don't need to worry about that back office stuff when I'm either running or in the field. So having an admin really, to be honest with you, 15, 20 hours a week doesn't sound like a lot, but 15 to 20 hours a week can free up a lot of time that's going to generate you more business. So what I would recommend if you're taking that first leap, hire somebody full time, have them do 15 to 20 hours a week for you. And then the remainder of the time, have them start plugging into your social media. And then, posting. And I know Honor and Valor, I know National Allegiance, and I've seen a lot of these other groups. What we've started doing is not so much hyping up yourself on your Facebook page, Instagram. When you start really showing other people's success besides your own, people naturally will start reaching out to you. So I have my admin, which I say admin/recruiter, which is one of them. Literally take care of all of that stuff for me. And if I need to get involved or I need to hop on a phone and introduce myself to somebody that maybe not a friend or maybe somebody that found me on Instagram, at that point, I will be involved because I know a little bit more about the business. So it's a balancing act. It really is personal production and then training and admin. But once you have that second one, it's so much easier because you can just duplicate the process and have that admin/recruiter plug and play into another recruiter.
Did you look specifically for an insurance business admin, or was this just somebody that was looking to change careers? Because I'm finding a little bit of both, and I'm not easy to deal with. So whether you're in the business or not in the business, I'm having a hard time finding people.
Yeah, so I've done ads on Facebook. I've just dropped a comment, hey, I'm looking for a full-time admin position. I've done Indeed. Indeed is a really, really good way. The problem, it's not really a problem. It's kind of like the numbers game for leads, right? We buy 100 leads, we set 8 to 10 appointments. And out of those 8 to 10 appointments, we'll sell 4 or 5 of them, or maybe more if we're lucky. Indeed is a numbers game. I cranked my stuff up where I was getting about 40 resumes a day. And then I had to shut them off after like 2 or 3 days because I didn't have enough to go through. And then what I would do is I would go through the resumes, and then I would, just like we set appointments for insurance, I would vet them. And I would say, number one, the biggest things are, you're gonna have a problem passing a background check. You have reliable transportation. Are you local? Those were, and then I'd have them come in for an interview. And then I would book them every 15 minutes after my dials on my dial days, Mondays and Thursdays. And really from like 4 to 8 is I would have about 12 to 15 interviews set up for an admin position. Because me personally, it's easier to, again, are we going to mesh well together? Are they going to be a good fit for the business when I'm face to face with somebody versus trying to do an interview over the phone? It just doesn't work for me. So I've used Indeed. I've had a lot of success with them. I found a lot of good staff from them. And then when you get your staff, kind of like recruiting, hey, look, we're looking for somebody else. Who do you know that's just like yourself, that can work in a high paced work environment, that's looking for a full-time job?
Good info. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem, Eric. We got to have some more questions.
What's your appointments running like these past couple weeks? How many appointments do you have versus how many like sales are you doing for the past couple weeks?
So, Nicholas, usually what I do is and this is why personal production, I always say you can never have enough leads. Diversify. So internet leads are great. They're easy to get on the fly. In an area, you can get a lot of leads. I deal with final expense mailers. I deal with mortgage protection. I do still dabble with Facebook leads, like happy agent leads, game times. But on average right now, on a slow week, I still try to keep at least between 25 to 30 appointments. And even if I don't hit that mark, I'll work 7 days a week. So like yesterday was what, Tuesday. I ran all day Tuesday. Normally I dial a day, run 2 days. Something came up. I had some stuff to do with I had a family emergency, so it's only able to book for 1 day. So I was on the phone today. I've got appointments in the evening today. I'll book up for Thursday afternoon and evening, and if I have to, I'll use the morning on Thursday from like 7:30 to 10, 11 o'clock, and I'll continue to book the next day. If I don't get my appointment counts, I don't care whether it's a Saturday or a Sunday, I will run every day until I get at least 30 appointments. 40's great. If I do 40 appointments, I'm doing between 10 to 15,000 a week easily.
Nice. That's good to hear.
Yep.
Good question, Nicholas. What else we got, guys? Let's ask some questions. This guy did 56,000 in his best month, so I don't.
You know what's great, Ivan, is that $56,000. It was all life, and about 90% of it was final expense.
Wow.
So
That means you definitely did put in the work, and obviously we know final expense is not 5,000 AP type of cases, so it's all $1,000 cases or less. So you definitely seen a lot of people and work really hard, but at the same time, probably confirm or just say I'm wrong here, that they're straightforward sales and you don't spend hours with these people. You just in and out, right?
yep, in and out. It's a very, very quick sale. And quite honestly, as far as a salesperson, I don't really consider myself one. And I know it's going to be kind of weird coming from me. If I don't find a need, or if they don't tell me why I'm there, because I always felt like Paul McLean, the 8 steps final expense. If they don't give me at least one of those reasons, I'll leave, because I already have too many people to see. I'm not there to convince you to protect your family. It's either a priority for you or not, and it's just my job to help them out. So those are usually very quick appointments.
Yeah, you got to sell me. Why in the world I'd be spending more of my time with you? Because I have a lot more people to see. But again, all comes down to how well you did on your dial days. All comes down on how well you invested in your leads the day before the doc. So, I mean, like, we keep talking about the same thing. By the way, it's intentional. Just, you know, so we all understand, we all on the same page, but that's just the truth of it. You know, there's no secret sauce that FFL has. I think the company treats agents the way they should be treated, and the rest, there's nothing else to it. So, but Eric, I'm going to pass it to you.
The constant preaching of working smart and working hard is, you know, a healthy balance. It's sometimes an old guy like me, you got to beat it into me 100 times before it finally makes sense.
I got you. All right. No doubt. So we all are the same way, Eric. So, but anyways, who's got questions? Again, Ryan did 56,000. He also doing pretty well with recruiting. His team's doing over 200,000. Definitely qualified for his own brand that's right behind him. So it says, what does it say?
Honor and valor.
Okay.
I put duty on there. I like duty too, but it's honor and valor. I just got the logo, honor, duty, and valor.
All right. Love it. So anyways, who's got questions, guys?
I have a follow-up question on the admin. I know I'm sticking on this. How do you manage the admin if they're working part-time, let's say 10 to 20 hours a week? What type of follow-up process do you utilize to make sure that they're actually doing the work? If you're out in the field writing, what's your process?
Yeah, so that's actually a great question. So number one, I never, actually in the very beginning, I tried hiring somebody part-time. It was the biggest mistake that I did from a business standpoint, because there's always so much work that needs to be done. So I have them set to my admin / recruiter. I have them Corey. I've got Corey doing in the morning. She comes in 9 to 5. When she first comes in, 9 o'clock is a great hour because the majority of the carriers are going to open up around that time anyways. So I will send her any leads that I may have sold. She'll go into the CRM. She'll mark them in as sold, because now that I'm building a team, there is oftentimes I'll go and I'll take leads out of my CRM to help another agent get started. So they're not going through the leads that I already sold. She'll take it out of the system. She'll put it in a spreadsheet. She will make notes when that policy is going to draft, how much the premium is, and address and phone number. So if you need to follow up, we can do so. But really from 9 to 11 is if a client needs anything changed with banking information, going through my back office, make sure that there's the chargebacks, that she's following up with the clients, you know, saying, hey, looks like your account went sideways. You know, do we need to update banking information? We don't say, sometimes we think in our heads as agents, a chargeback hits, oh, they can't afford it, or, oh, they're going to cancel the policy. So, and I've lost a lot of business my first year because I didn't follow through and follow up like I should have. So I just reworded it a little bit differently. So she follows them up. I let the client say, hey, it was just a little bit too much. Even if they say cancel, no problem. Ryan's got to come back out. He's got some paperwork he's got to finalize with you guys. I just need to get back in that house. So at that point, she'll text me, or we share a Google Calendar, or she can see what my schedule looks like, what area I'm going to be in. So if I need to go back out there, she can say, hey, Ryan is going to be out there on this day. What the same time still work good for you at 4:30. It looks like he was out there last time. And then the other hours is going to be as far as recruiting. Now, once a week, we will follow up, and I will put things together, and I'll say, okay, I think it's a level of trust you have to establish with that person. Because the first couple of weeks I was following up, and I was like, okay, I just want to make sure this is taken care of. These are the policies that are getting ready to lapse. These are the policies where I'm going back out to the client. These are the policies that were saved. But after it was like 45 to 60 days, I don't have to check up on her. She is calling me now saying, hey, look, what's your schedule look like tomorrow? Or, hey, I know you mentioned that you're going out of town. I got you in here for, you're going to Florida on this date. Do you think you can squeeze them in before the day before you leave? You know what I mean? Like, I don't have to touch base with her. Once a week, we do meetings just to say, as far as recruiting, where are we at now, what's working, what's not. and then we can find out what we need to dump more money into. If one recruiting source is better than the other, like LinkedIn, Facebook, Indeed, whatever other platforms we have. Like we have weekly meetings on it, and it's only for an hour that we get all of the staff in the office together to go over. Because at that point, I have her bring suggestions that she learns from the meeting back to me before I change anything, and to make it very clear, like, hey, we're a team, we're working together. If we need to change things, like we need to be on the same page. You know, I don't have her taking it upon herself to change the system that we already have. I'm all open for if there's a better way to handle the system, we'll get it taken care of, but you have to be on the same page.
What's your preferred method of compensation for that type of individual?
I mean, as far as like an hourly rate?
Yeah, how do you pay her? Is it W-2'd or is she contracted like all of us? Or do you have is your agency like an S Corp or something where you have the ability to W-2 people, benefits and that kind of stuff?
Correct. So right now I am an S Corp. So they are W-2 employees. As far as hourly rate, I brought her in at 15 and I put on the job posting between 15 to 17. It gives us wiggle room. And when I interview that person, I say, look, you know, we're going to start out at 15 an hour. Okay. I'm hoping it works out, but really we're going to have a 30 to 60 day trial period and figure out if this is going to be a good fit for you. And then also for the business. And then
go ahead. Overall in your agency, how many W-2 employees do you have?
Right now I only have 3.
Okay.
I only have 3.
And it's working, obviously. I mean, I like that admin person. That's like your right hand. All that stuff you mentioned is vital because that's the $11, $15 an hour stuff that we end up wasting a crap ton of time.
Absolutely. And then one more thing I will tell you, as far as recruiting, I've also put like incentives, and it's in place to help the growth of the team. And I've heard somebody say this, I don't know if it's talked about too much, but when you start putting people in class, and you start hiring, those numbers are great, the hiring numbers, but really what we focus on is actual issue paid business, people that are actually writing. So for every person that my recruiter or my admin does in her free time, the first app that gets issued by a new agent, I will give her $50. Then the 5th policy, it'll be another $50. I'm not to the point now yet, but probably by the end of the year when we're up there, $750 to $1 million a month agency, I'd really also like to take the vice president bonus and go through and say, hey, look, you know, these people are good writers. You've brought them on, they're growing a business. You know, if I'm getting 1%, maybe I'll give her, a cut of that. You know what I mean? Just an incentive to keep going and be consistent.
That's a great thing to do. What a great thing to do. I like that.
Because what Sean Mike always says, a little bit of a lot is still a lot. And
yeah,
you want to keep those people that are going to grow your business and aren't going to slack off, you know, just like a W-2 employee just sitting there waiting for the time to pass. They're really going to benefit your business. And what I found is communication and also compensation motivates people to move.
Good stuff. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Right. Just again, to be respectful of Brian's time, we'll take one more question in and we're gonna wrap. Who's got one?
Yeah, I'll ask one. I just recently purchased leads for the first time yesterday and this morning. So is it something that you suggest that I do before actually dialing for the appointments?
As far as, so number one, before you dial, so say if you bought leads today, you're going to run tomorrow, I like to print my leads out. Some people don't. What I find is just flipping through it like a stack of 30 and then being able to flip over and make notes has worked better for me. But also your time frame. Like I book for internets, and then for final expense, I'll book every hour on the hour. Mortgage, I'll book every hour and a half. I know you'll learn that when you start booking appointments, you'll know which ones are solid, where they're definitely going to be there. They're going to be at the front porch waiting for you to get there. And then other ones that are like, I get off at like 5:30. And then you're like quick setting them. So if I have a quick set, I almost just count that as a door knock. And then what I'll do is I'll put a more solid appointment a half an hour after it. And if that quick set's there, great. If they're not, then I've got another appointment to go to. So understanding what your schedule is going to be is very crucial. Make sure you do that the night before. I have a planner that has from 7 a.m. till about 9 o'clock at night that I can run.
Ryan, sorry for interrupting. Let's get into meat and potatoes, because I think this is really going to help everybody on this call is to understand what does it really take to basically have a successful dial session, number one. And number two, what is your approach to second chance and aged mortgage protection or final expense script leads in your script?
So be intentional. What I found works, especially with these age leads. One thing, Ivan, I can tell you we just went through is a pandemic. So in general, a lot has changed recently. So when I call them, I'll say, Ivan, this is Ryan, Mortgage Protection Center. Getting back to you, you had sent the card in for the mortgage protection plan some time ago. A lot of things have changed since last time you sent this in. We just had a pandemic. They've got a lot of discounted rates going on. They've actually got me assigned to your area to get these new plans out to you. Are you working, retired, or disabled? And they'll be like, I don't remember filling that out. Yeah, no big deal. This is for the property at 1235 or 1234 Main Street. And you put down here that you and your spouse are 51 and 53 and you're both non-smokers. So I just treat it like a brand new lead. Like it doesn't matter whether it costs me $1 or whether it costs me $80. Setting that appointment, being intentional, and more times than not, what I'll find even with these age leads is if they even got a policy a couple years ago, it wasn't like I can still replace and get them something 10 times better.
No doubt, no doubt. And how do you dial? What's your what is like just so we all know that this leads are, I mean, let's be clear, they're leads, and I mean, they're my favorite type, by the way. The ROI is insane. But what is the approach? Not just the script, but how do you dial? Just get us some understanding of what it really takes to win on the phone. So what does it really take to make the money?
So you're gonna have to call them a lot more. That's the biggest thing. Like if you take a stack of 30, I'll call them once, let it ring all the way through, hang up. I'll take a stack of 30, run it that way, hit them again 2 times each, let it ring. First time I'll let it ring like once or twice, and the second time I'll let it ring all the way through. But the third time I'll triple dial them. And then if that doesn't work, then I'll star 67. Then I'll triple dial them again. By the time I'm done with them, within usually an hour, they're getting about 7 to 8 missed phone calls from me in an hour. And the mindset behind it is, number one, it's not normal for somebody to call you 7 to 8 times unless it's emergency. And I get more people picking up. So, and again, when I feel like I've exhausted it or my number's getting blocked, I'll change my number or I'll go through the next stack of leads. But everybody's like, how many dials do you make? I'm going to be honest with you. I don't make anything less than about 300 dials a dial session. And I've made, I think the most dials I've ever made was about 800 dials in a day. So it doesn't matter what it takes, as long as you get your appointments, whether it's 300 dials or 800. I've got that mindset, put in place where I'm going to do whatever it takes to set my schedule.
Got it. Well, that's it, guys. That's the real deal. That's what we do. Burn that phone, and that's, again, it's uncomfortable, right, Ryan? So, and it's not necessarily like, imagine you just needing to, like, in your mind, sometimes we think, oh, am I bothering them 7 times, 8 times, 9 times? Is it too much? What are they going to think, right? So what are you thinking? Like, what goes through your mind when you actually have to get that uncomfortable?
I make it just as if, because I lost my grandfather 2.5 weeks ago. And what happens if that was one of my family members, that their last day on earth was, in 2 days, and I was their only chance for them to get covered. Okay. Whether, I'm not inconveniencing them. They filled this form out. They asked for my help. It's my job to call them. It doesn't matter whether I call them 12 times in a day or one time. It doesn't matter. I'm doing my job. My job is to help them get covered and protect their family. So I don't care. I'm probably the worst person to ask, how do I feel? Because I don't feel anything. I don't care about people's feelings when I call them, if I'm pissing them off or I'm making them upset. Because at the end of the day,
That's the more accurate statement when you said, I don't care. But the second time you said, I don't care about their feelings. That's more accurate statement, because you do care.
Correct.
That's the difference. Actually, you care so much that you don't care about your own feelings and their feelings.
correct. And here's the thing, what I'll find is, when it's, I call somebody 12 times, they picked up, they're like, hello, who is this? And then you meet them where they're at, and then you bring your tone down, they match your tone. And then I've set appointments and I've sold it. And, I've also had death claims where I've done it and 3 months later they died. So I know how important this is. This is our last opportunity to protect this family. They may not be here tomorrow. So if that was my family, guess what? If my mom doesn't answer her phone, I'm calling her over and over and over again until she picks up. And if she's not there, I'm going to drive up to her house and figure out what's going on. And that's really what we do with these leads and these clients.